What's up, everybody? Max Whitman here. We are back after what seems like, I'm sure to you, forever. I believe we've been off air for, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks at this point, maybe a month. I don't know. I lost track of time. Anybody who's played TEW can attest to what I like to call TEW burnout. That's kind of what we ran into. But we're back. We're going to finish this up. A little bit of a change of plans in terms of the length of booking for this series. I think part of the burnout was that we're just kind of getting tired of the WWF 94 series that we're doing. We were shooting for a year, didn't really get close to it. I think we've booked, I think we've booked about 6 months. Let me see, we're at 4 complete months. Survivor Series will mark our 5th month. So here's what's going to happen. We're gonna take the series into Survivor Series. We'll finish Survivor Series. We'll set the stage for the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and all that. But after Survivor Series, we're going to probably take a break from the 1994 series. You may see 1 or 2 videos of it pop up here and there, but we're going to take a step back from it and start, most likely, our present-day Ring of Honor save. We're kind of gathering some ideas there. I think WWF, we just ran into, with a lot of storylines, and they're fun to come up with. But they take a toll on you doing 3 episodes a week. But I want to continue to do 2 to 3 episodes a week. So we're going to hit Survivor Series, call it a wrap on the WWF 1994, or at least put it on hold. We will inevitably come back to this when we get the urge to do a historical save and continue this. Because there will be, you'll see after Survivor Series, there will be some storylines that have not fully wrapped up, and we want it to be that way, just so that if and when we decide to come back to 94, we can kind of do a quick recap of where we were, and then go right on into continuing that save. So, that being said, this is Monday Night Raw, week 1 of November. It's our first episode of Raw building into Survivor Series. And let's get right into it. This match here, this is a dark match. It's a pre-show dark match. And it's just going to be Bret Hart and The Undertaker taking on Owen Hart and The Barbarian. It scores an 80. The Undertaker outperformed everybody here. Bret had an in-ring performance of 83. We'll talk about it hopefully on whenever our next creative meeting is. Hopefully within the next week or 2. But Bret is majorly unhappy being the figurehead. He's stressed out, and so his in-ring performance might be starting to take a little bit of a hit here. But he is still our current figurehead. There's nobody better right now, and so he'll just have to suck it up, quit being a baby. Let's move into the opening segment here. All right, so this is Gorilla Monsoon. He's in the ring or backstage. Let's say he's backstage. If it's 94, chances are he was backstage. And he is announcing the Survivor Series qualifying matches. So basically, what he's announcing here is on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, we will see Shawn Michaels take on Jim Neidhart in a Survivor Series qualifier. Lex Luger take on Jeff Hardy in a Survivor Series qualifier. Bam Bam Bigelow will take on IRS in his qualifier. And Chris Jericho will battle Randy the Ram in their qualifier. Next week's episode of Raw, we'll see Diesel versus Hayabusa, The Undertaker versus the 1-2-3 Kid, and Owen Hart versus Jerry Lawler, and Razor Ramon versus Lance Storm. Those are our 16 Survivor Series candidates. It'll be narrowed down to 8 after next week. And then Gorilla's going to throw in a little bit of a twist here. This will not be a traditional Survivor Series match. What will happen, these 8 competitors, the 8 qualifiers who won their matches, will be split into 2 teams of 4, and we will have a standard 8-man tag team match to open Survivor Series, and the winning team will then proceed to main event Survivor Series. So they'll fight their second match of the show, and that match will be a 4-way elimination match with the sole survivor being named the #1 contender at Royal Rumble for the WWF Heavyweight Championship. So we're going to keep to the Survivor theme, but we will not see a traditional Survivor Series match, at least not with this group, at Survivor Series. So we'll have an 8-man tag to open the show. Then the winning team will face off later in the show in a 4-way elimination, and the winner of that match will become the #1 contender. But tonight we get HBK versus Neidhart, Luger versus Hardy, Bam Bam versus IRS, and Jericho versus the Randy the Ram. Next week, Diesel Hayabusa, Undertaker 1-2-3 Kid, Owen Hart, Jerry Lawler, and Razor versus Lance Storm. This is going to score a 90. All these guys just rated on overness here. Good way to open up the show. It's going to advance a couple of storylines. So a solid way to open the show. Hurricane Maxwell is looking at me from the other room right now. It's only a matter of time before that storm is here. So let's move on to our next segment. A little slow here. There it is. The computer's running a little bit slow today. But it's Chris Jericho versus Randy the Ram. It's a decent match. Jericho defeats Randy the Ram in 9:53. Yep, by submission with the Lion Tamer. Jericho's in-ring performance is a 74 as he continues to improve. And Randy the Ram pulls a 78. It scores an 81 overall. So, Chris Jericho is first to advance, and he qualifies for the Survivor Series pay-per-view. So Chris Jericho is our first qualifier. We don't know who his tag team partner will be. We don't know who else is in it, but Jericho claims the first spot. Moving on is Lex Luger versus Jeff Hardy, and that's going to pull a 71, gets a C+ rating, and Lex Luger defeats Jeff Hardy in 7:54 by pinfall with the military slam press. So Lex Luger earns his way into the qualifier, and Luger pulls a 71, Jeff Hardy a 45, not terrible. What I didn't realize was Jeff and Sparkplug still have a storyline going on, so that segment gains heat here. We've kind of put that one on the back burner. Kind of forgot about that one, actually. But Lex Luger earns his way in. So Lex Luger will earn his way into the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Will he be Jericho? Will he be on Jericho's team? Will he be against Jericho? We'll have to wait and find out. Our next match, this is just going to be an angle with Bret Hart. And it's just Bret Hart backstage cutting a Champions promo, saying he's anxiously awaiting the results of these qualifiers and to see who his opponent at the Royal Rumble will be. Just a simple, get your champion out there, get him on the show. He works without a script, does really well, pulls an 88, it's a B+ rating. Our next qualifying match is Bam Bam Bigelow versus IRS, and Bam Bam defeats IRS in just under 10 minutes by submission. It doesn't give the movie used, but the submission specialist, Bam Bam Bigelow, defeating IRS here, pulls a 72. Bam Bam's in-ring is a 79. Good performance for him. IRS a 57. And that's going to advance our Razor versus Bam Bam storyline a little bit. So Bam Bam Bigelow earns his way into the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Let's move to our main event of the evening. It's going to be HBK taking on Jim Neidhart. And that match is going to pull an 82. Shawn Michaels a 93, Jim Neidhart a 64. And Shawn Michaels going to defeat Jim Neidhart in just over 10 minutes after hitting the Sweet Chin Music. That pulls an 82. It gets a B rating. Good, solid way to end our show. I'm actually glad I kind of put this show together. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put Jericho versus Randy the Ram as the main event or HBK versus Neidhart. I knew they'd be the two highest scoring matches, so I wanted to open and close with them. And I picked right, because Jericho Robinson gets an 81, and HBK Neidhart gets an 82. So I figured HBK would carry Neidhart to a good match. He does just that. It's a good, strong way to end the show. Let's move on to see our rating. We get an 82, increases our popularity in 12 regions. So that's a good solid show, a good solid episode of Monday Night Raw. As we head our way into Survivor Series, we get our first 4 qualifiers. It's Shawn Michaels, Lex Luger, Bam Bam Bigelow, and Chris Jericho. Tune in to our next episode of Monday Night Raw, where you'll see what's between Diesel and Hayabusa, Undertaker and 1-2-3 Kid, Owen Hart and Jerry Lawler, and Razor Ramon and Lance Storm. I don't think you have to be a genius to figure out which direction that one's going in. All of those, actually. These are pretty obvious qualifiers. Here comes Hurricane Maxwell. What's up, Maxwell? You want to get on the radio here? Oh, no, you just want to give me some of your corn pops? Thank you, Hurricane Maxwell. Hurricane Maxwell, everybody. Handing Max Whitman her corn pops here. That's going to do it for today. The corn pops are the official get off the air Max kind of thing. And she's reaching for my Tostitos here now. I'm sure you can hear that. So, that's going to do it. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for hanging out while we were gone. Apologies for that. But, like I said, anybody who's played TEW is familiar with TEW Burnout. Maxwell is begging me for a Tostito here. Stand by. Here you go, Maxwell. Take your Tostito and go wreak havoc someplace else. She's on her way, folks. Thanks for sticking around. We are back, though. At least I'm back. Professor will hopefully be joining me for our next couple of recordings. We're going to definitely have a creative meeting up shortly as we move into our, what will most likely be a present-day Ring of Honor save. It's definitely going to be present day, whatever it is. We talked about doing New Japan. We talked about doing a real minor indie. But I think we'll probably move to Ring of Honor. Present-day Ring of Honor. It's got some good talent there. So tune in for that. That creative meeting will be coming up probably within the next 2 weeks, I think, to be safe. But yeah, thanks for joining. And for everybody here at Book It Better, I will see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.